All right, so I'm going to start with just explaining what similar figures are. We'll come back to this next time, but for right now, just want you to write next to your figures that similar figures have corresponding angles congruent. And we'll label it in our picture, so angle D would be congruent to angle S, C to R, and so on. Also, the corresponding sides are proportional. Okay. All right, and to write a similarity statement, if we know that these two things are similar, then we can say that figure ABCD is similar to PQRS. That's our similarity statement. All right, turn it over and we'll look at some examples. There we go. So first of all, we want to determine if these two are similar. So the first thing I check for are my corresponding angles. So here, A and W are congruent, B and X are congruent, and so on. So we can say that corresponding angles are congruent. So if we know that, the next thing we need to check to see is if the sides are proportional. So here I'm going to say, okay, well, this is the longest side. So is this over here is the longest side? See what that is? So 21 divided by 7, that's 3. And then pick a different side. Well, the next largest would be right here. So 18 over, that corresponds to this side, which is 6. That is also 3. Moving over here, I have 15 over 5, which is also 3. Okay, and then the last side here, 12 would correspond to 4, which is also 3. So because all 4 sides, the ratio of all 4 sides is the same, we have similar figures. So we can say ABCD is similar to WXYZ because A is congruent to W, B is congruent to X, C is congruent to Y, D is congruent to Z. So the order that you write it in does matter. You want it to be to where the letters correspond. And then we could say the scale factor, K, is 3, the ratio of any two sides, so 21 over 7. And that's if we want it to be an enlargement. If we want to go from here to here, we want the figure to get bigger. But if we want it to get smaller, then we need to go the other direction. So 7 over 21, which reduces down to 1/3, would take us in the opposite direction. Okay. And we can use any corresponding sides to find the scale factor. We could have said it's 3 or 1/3 from 18 and 6, or from 15 and 5. Okay, and you just have to remember that if you want it to get smaller, like going from this shape to that shape, I want it to reduce, and to be a reduction, it has to be less than 1. I want to go from here to here, I want it to get bigger. I want an enlargement, so I need it to be greater than 1. Okay, now looking at this figure, we can see that the corresponding angles are congruent. I have to check and see if the sides are proportional. So the longest side here is 8. We'll say 8 over the longest side over here is 6. If I reduce that down, they can both be divided by 2. That would give me 4 over 3. Now, 8 over 6, now I need to check to see if that's the same as 6 over 4. 6 over 4 can also both be divided by 2, which gives me 3 over 2. These are not the same. So this is not proportional. Oh, wait. These are not similar figures. All right. The next example. Okay, it says get the given polygons are similar, solve for each variable. So if L or JLM is similar to QST, then that makes JL and QS corresponding sides. So JL and QS. So I'm going to start out 3y minus 2 over its corresponding side, 5. And since they're similar, that should be equal to JM, 4, and its corresponding side. So JM should correspond to QT. So that's 2. And then when you have a proportion like this, all you have to do to solve is cross multiply. So I'm going to take 2 times this. So 2 times 3y minus 2 and 5 times 4. So here distributing, I get 6y minus 4 equals 5 times 4 gives me 20. Then I can add the 4 over, I get 6y equals 24. So y equals 4. Okay, then going back to find x, we'll set it up very similarly. So I could have 6x minus 3 over its corresponding side would be 3 LM and ST. And that should also be equal to 4 over 2. Cross multiplying, I get 2 times 6x minus 3 equals 3 times 4, which is 12. And over here, we get 12x minus 6. Add the 6 over, and we get 12x equals 18. Divide by 12, you get x equals 18 over 12, which reduces down to 3 over 2. Okay, trying another one, we have ACDF is similar to VWYZ. So DF should correspond to YZ. So I can say x over 10 should be equal to CD and its over its corresponding side. So CD two middle letters here should correspond to the two middle letters here. So WY, which is 6. And I can cross multiply, so that gives me 6x equals 10 times 9, or 90. And then we'll divide both sides by 6 and get x equals 15. We're halfway done with that one. We still need to find y. So just like we found x, we can say, okay, VZ corresponds to AF, which is 12. So 3y minus 1 over its corresponding side, 12, should be equal to, if I went from this shape to that one, I have to go from this shape to that one, so 6 over 9. Or we could have written it the other way around. If we flipped both of these, we'd still get the same answer. Cross multiplying here, I'm going to get 9 times 3y minus 1 equals 12 times 6. Multiplying across. Here, I'm going to distribute and get 27y minus 9 equals 72. Add the 9 to both sides, and I get 27y equals 81. Divide by 27, and you get y equals 3, and that one's finished. Okay, and looking here, we have a couple options for scale factor. Our scale factor from here to here, we could say scale factor, these are corresponding sides, so we could say it could be 9 over 6, which is 3/2. And that's more than one, so that would be an enlargement. That would be to go from the small one to the big one. If we want to reduce it, however, we have to turn that upside down. So we have 6/9 or 2/3 for the scale factor. So once again, consider whether you're enlarging or reducing. Okay, last problem. We know that the corresponding angles should be congruent. So here, angle A should be congruent to angle Q. Angle B should be congruent to angle S. Angle C should be congruent to angle R, and D to P. So I need to find R. We said R should be congruent to C. So I can say that 3y minus 13 should equal 83. We can add the 13 to the other side, which would give us 3y equals 96. And divide, we get y equals 32. We're going to use the exact same idea to find x. So x is right here with angle D. D should correspond to P. And we know that if they're similar, the corresponding angles are congruent. So we have x plus 34 equals 97. Subtract the 34 from both sides and we get x equals 63. There we go. And we are finished with our notes over similar figures. Please attempt the assignment. It is due before the end of the class period, and I will answer any questions you still have when we get back next week.